Hello everyone, and welcome to my second Starfield character build, The Thief. This is a starter build, designed to get you suited to a life of crime, but still with plenty of room to grow in the future. I plan on doing one or two more starter builds, as it's very easy to avoid anything close to a spoiler with them, and then I'll move on to the full-fledged builds which require a bit more. The background I chose for this build was Cyber Runner. It fits in pretty well with the Thief archetype, and gets you a rank of Stealth, Security, and Theft from the start. All things that a thief will be interested in. As for traits, I only went with two this time around. Neon Street Rat is the one you absolutely must go for. Neon is going to be your main focus for quite a while with this character, so getting bonus dialogue options and better rewards for mission there is a huge boon. The other trait I picked up was Introvert. This makes you expend less oxygen when travelling alone, which is what I tended to do with this character. What it adds up to is the ability to sprint about twice as much as you normally would, which is just a nice little bonus to have. If you decide you want to have a follower travelling with you most of the time, then do not pick up this trait, as it will have the opposite effect instead. On to skills now, and we start in the physical tree, where I just have the stealth skill as it's the only one you need. Having it means you get the stealth meter at the top of the screen, letting you know how close to detection you are. The more ranks you get, the better you are at sneaking. Plus, you get a nice little bonus to sneak attack damage with suppressed weapons to boot. Social is where we have the majority of our skills. Commerce, Persuasion, and Theft all have use for this character. Theft is the one we start out with, and it gives you the ability to pickpocket NPCs. Pickpocketing is risky business, so you'll want to be careful when using this, but you can always upgrade it to make things easier for yourself in the future. Persuasion is just going to make you better at passing speech challenges, which the game has a lot of. Violence isn't always the answer, and if you can get past an obstacle by talking, then by all means do. It will save you bullets, and give less chance of you getting shot at. And for a character that wants to make money, commerce feels like a no-brainer. Better prices when buying and selling just means more profit for you. It's not a complicated skill, but it doesn't need to be. Once you've got 4 points in the social tree, you can then get the two more interesting skills, Deception and Negotiation. Deception will give you a better chance of smuggling contraband by making scans of your ship less effective. It also improves chances of ships surrendering if you hail them and demand all their goods. A very nice bonus if you want to head more into a spice pirate route of things. Negotiation will give you access to bribery in speech challenges. If you really want a problem to go away, throwing money at it is now a solution you can use. Onto the combat tree, where I just have the pistol certification skill. This increases damage with pistols, which are your weapon of choice. Nothing really much to talk about here. Moving straight past the science tree, as we have no points invested there, in the tech tree there's two skills to check out, boost pack training and security. I'm going to be including boost pack training in every build, because who doesn't like having their own personal jetpack? The added mobility can be helpful for this character, providing extra routes to get past unseen, even if that involves literally going over the heads of your targets. As for security, the lockpicking/hacking minigame is a ton of fun, and is why this is the second build I'm making. Higher ranks of this skill let you break into higher locks, bank more auto attempts, and gives you a nice colour-coded bit of help too. Max out this skill, and you'll be able to break into anything in the settled systems. Onto equipment now, and let's start with the weapons. You're going to be a pistol character through and through, so keep hold of all the best pistols you come across. Ammo is somewhat limited in the game, so you want to have 3 or 4 different weapons hotkeyed, each with a different ammo type. You're also going to want to keep an eye out for any suppressed pistols, as these won't break stealth when used. You don't have weapon modding perks, so you'll either need to loot or buy these. When it comes to spacesuit, pack and helmet, the basic just use whatever best stuff you come across approach applies here. Bump up your resistance with this, maybe get some bonuses from rares and legendaries, you just kinda gotta see what gear randomly appears in front of you. When it comes to the apparel section though, there you can have a bit more fun. I carried multiple different bits of clothing with me, each for a different sort of mission or activity. As my general gear, I had cyberware streetwear, which I just think looks really cool. Yes, that's the reason it was my general gear. If I was doing some business for corpos or just needed to look like somebody important, I'd put on a suit. If I was doing gang work, then I'd throw on the striker mask wear. and if I'm cooking up a batch of Aurora, then it's the Xenofresh clean suit. Being able to mix up these outfits helped to add to the role-playing side of things a bit, and let me get more invested in the character overall. Honestly, the most important piece of equipment you have might be the Digipick. Make sure to stock up on as many of these as you can, as you're going to be breaking into a lot of different things with this build. For this character, I decided I wanted to build a custom ship, which I called the Pouncing Panther. Although that was too many characters apparently, so it ended up technically being called Panther Pounce. The idea behind the ship was something incredibly light and manoeuvrable, with a bit of shielded cargo and a jammer to make it perfect for smuggling contraband. The problem is that this is a character with no skills in anything spaceship crafting related, so it was a case of working with very basic stuff to get it to work. But work it does, and while a little janky looking, it performs admirably. In combat, you want to use your speed and manoeuvrability to get behind your targets before taking out their shields with your lasers and hull with your cannons. I didn't have a missile system on here because I envisioned it as more of a hit and run vessel, but honestly, it's probably smarter to throw a missile system on too, as it's only a couple of extra mass. I am considering doing a full ship build video for this vessel, but I'm a bit on the fence about it right now. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that, and if there's enough people asking for it, then I'll definitely make it and go way more in depth on the ship there. In terms of factions, this character is more aligned with a place than a group. Neon is where you want to go, and once there, you want to be doing just about every quest you can. Most quests require some element of crime and breaking rules, which is just what this character was designed for. Join the Strikers, look into Aurora's production, and see what troubles the shopkeepers are dealing with. In terms of proper factions, I'd recommend looking into getting a job at Ryujin Industries. They're stationed in Neon and should have plenty work for a person who's willing to break the rules. Much later game, you also might want to consider looking into the Crimson Fleet, although that isn't a required part of the character at this stage. I mentioned near the start that I didn't travel with any followers, and that's typical of me, particularly when playing a stealth build. I don't like having to worry about what my follower is up to while I'm sneaking past guards, and while they don't seem to negatively impact your stealth per se, they do go guns blazing once stealth is broken, robbing you of the chance of getting hidden again. While I don't recommend having a follower tag along with you, I would recommend getting some crew for your ship. I foolishly didn't have any crew in my ship during the battle footage I recorded, but I did end up looking around the settle systems after that, and found that most bars will have a few different generic crew members hanging around, and you can sometimes even find named crew members who give better buffs. What I personally wanted was an engine specialist of some kind, but didn't have any luck there. Make sure to grab a couple of crew who will make your ship more efficient if you can. The playstyle for this character should be fairly straightforward, as you're a thief. You want to be stealing stuff. Profit is the name of the game, and the more you steal, the more you can sell. There's plenty of disreputable merchants out there, willing to buy stolen goods, most of them belonging to the Trade Authority. Make sure to just grab stuff that's of the highest value. You don't have a crazy amount of cargo space, so I typically go with the 1000 rule. If the value is over 1000 times the mass, it's worth picking up, otherwise don't bother. For example, an item with a mass of 1 would need to have a value higher than 1000 for me to bother looting it. An item with a mass of 0.5 would only need a value above 500 to be worth looting. Being selective about what you loot should ensure the highest profit while still letting you move fast. When it comes to combat, you want to use stealth in your favour. As a pistol character, you don't have great range, so sneak up close to your targets and then take them down with a fast trigger finger. If you have a suppressed pistol, then make sure to use that while still hidden, and if you get detected, switch to your others. You're not some powerhouse of a character in combat, so always be willing to run away. It will give you the chance to re-enter stealth and pick off targets at your own pace. And one final tip of sorts, I'd recommend checking out my short smuggling guide I posted the other day, as it is perfect for this character. The thief has been living a life of crime for as long as she could remember. Growing up as a sleep crate rat in Neon didn't leave many opportunities for her to pursue. When the choice was starve or steal, it wasn't really much of a choice. Her light fingers kept her fed while growing up, but she knew she could never risk any big jobs. While she craved the payday, too many people might recognise her, and the risk was always too great. Instead, she hatched a plan. Make just enough money to get off-world, leave for a few years, and then come back and get some serious business sorted. Throughout her late teens and early 20s, she scrimped and saved, always spending just enough for her to survive, but never indulging in any luxuries. Her sacrifice meant that she was able to get aboard a transport vessel and make her way to New Atlantis. Once there, she made certain to stay under the radar, picking up normal jobs whenever she could, and trying her best to blend in and just become a part of the background. But part-time jobs serving drinks or sweeping up hardly paid well, and after a while, living in poverty just became too much. She would serve the rich executives coffee and hear them moan about the problems with their computers, how they had to go through these specific security checks and so on. By providing a kind ear, and with the help of grabbing a few keycards, she quickly found herself able to access internal documents for several of the big corporations. It didn't take much searching to find willing buyers who would often pay her more than a month's wages for files that only took her moments to download. The work was easy, and as such, she got greedy. People started noticing the files being stolen and breaks in the security system were patched. There were investigations being launched, and she was certain that if people looked hard enough, she would be found. It had been good while it lasted, but it was time to get out before she got locked up. As fortune would have it, she came across a company named Argos Extractors, who seemed desperate for employees, and all their jobs took place on rocks in the middle of nowhere, the perfect place to hide out for the time being. She figured she'd work a few jobs with them, and then buy a ticket back to Neon to see just how much money she could really make. And there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed this build. There will be plenty more to come in the future, so please do subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on them. I do also have a community Discord server and a Twitter account where I post my videos once they go live. Links to both are in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, comment and share, and as always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.